Hey guys, this Monday Night Live looks a little different. Dr. Barry is being very active in our community locally. He has got a Make Tennessee Healthy Again initiative. So he is at an event in town trying to make connections and make change at a local level. He did it backwards. He started to change the world, and then now he's bringing it back home. So that is where he is. We did not kick him out. He's not in timeout.
That would be fun to put him in timeout, though.
It would, as much as I would like to do that. That is where he is doing the hard work that is unfortunately a little politicky, but you gotta be in there. So he's doing that, and that's where he is tonight. So you're gonna hang out with myself and my good friend Amanda Decker, who's a nurse practitioner. She has a practice in Dixon, Tennessee. Her and Ken work together. I work with her. She's in the community with us a lot as well, inside the PhD community. But for those of you who are not familiar with her, Amanda, go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I am a nurse practitioner, as Neisha said. I've been in medicine for over 20 years, so almost as long as Dr. Barry has been in medicine. The first half of my career was really spent doing standard of care, primary care. Here's your meds, see you again in 3 months. And then I got so burnt out, I almost left medicine and decided to flip the switch. I'd made myself healthier by changing my nutrition, and I started secretly using it with my patients. Yes, secretly using it because I was scared to tell them things that were against the standard recommendations. But when they started getting better too, I couldn't ignore it anymore and started becoming more vocal about it. I went in more to metabolic health, weight management, and helping people achieve the level of health that they want, getting off meds, freeing them from illnesses, freeing them from medical devices, and, just feeling good about what I do again. And what I love the most about our practice that I formed here at ClearPath is that we get to spend individual time with each person, going over labs, giving information, hearing them. Because man, Neisha, it's like how many people just have never been truly heard by their healthcare provider? They want
most people.
Yeah, 5 minutes later, you're out and you're like, wait, they didn't even really get into what I was there for today. And so, just giving the time to each individual to help them feel heard and then to help them find answers. It's an amazing thing to be able to do that in my new career.
And Amanda also does telehealth in certain states. How many states are you in now?
21.
21. She has a website and she also has a Facebook page. So if you're interested in telehealth, she is actually taking new patients. She's one of the few providers who actually has some openings, but that's because she's fairly new to doing this carnivore, not new to practicing, but new to this form of healthcare where she took a leap of faith on herself and she's doing this. And so you better get in while she has openings, because every carnivore keto doctor I know fills up super, super quickly. And so she is one of the few that you can get in with. So she's amazing. We're going to answer some questions for you guys tonight. Make sure you put a QQQ so we can see. Okay, this is a good question. Does she take insurance? So no, and there's a very good reason for that. I'll let you break it down, because you're the one who is doing it.
Absolutely. So, I took insurance for the first 20 years of my career. It's only since January that I didn't. And the reason I left that model is because it really constrains the provider. So in that model of taking insurance, I got the 10 to 15 minutes with each client. 10 to 15 minutes is not enough time to hear you, to help you figure out the problems that are going on, present you with options and solutions, and then work together. It's just not enough time. Insurance also ties your hands a lot. It dictates your care. And if you don't follow their standards, then you get dinged. And over time, those ratings really hurt you. They hurt your practice. They hurt your reimbursement. They even rate you with stars. And if your star rating goes down, that means they recommend you to less people when you call your insurance and you're looking for a provider. So just because I can't deliver the type of care that I feel good about to clients, I had to break free from that scenario. But what we do is we give you a super bill. So the super bill is what is turned in by your provider to the insurance to collect reimbursement. So if you have what's called out of network benefits on your plan, you can turn that back in and get some of your money back, hopefully, or at least let it go towards your deductible. So you can use your insurance, just not in the traditional way when you walk into other practices.
You do a health savings account for?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. If you have HSA, FSA, you can use that.
So that's what I recommend to people, because a lot of people, this is going to turn into insurance talk for just a second, can't not have insurance, but they want to go to a provider that can give them the time and attention that they need. And so that is the best way to do that. And you don't have to pay taxes on your HSA, the money in that account. You get to use it. You can even use it at the pharmacy for Tylenol and things like that. That is the best option currently for anyone who is on this path that doesn't want to go to the doctor and be seen for 10 minutes, but still needs the insurance thing. So look into a health savings account if you're wanting to hire a provider, or even I think you can use it for health coaching now too. I think
it might be questionable depending on your individual plan. I've seen some that make rules on what you can and cannot spend a little bit tighter. And those are typically the FSAs. The FSAs have a lot more restrictions than the HSAs there.
Do some research, because health insurance is a ripoff. You pay a lot and get very little back. There's a lot of options, more and more these days. So if you feel stuck and you want to see a provider that you can actually sit down and talk to, look at your options. The pollen is great here, by the way. So if I clear my throat 1,000 times, I'm very sorry, but I've been in the garden all day.
Tis the season. But I personally choose to go with a high deductible plan, because then if there's a catastrophic event like a car wreck or random appendicitis in a kid kind of thing, but my care that I see with my primary, I pay cash for it just because that's the kind of treatment I want.
Yep, exactly. All right. KL says, any advice or tips for, sorry. No, I forget I'm not in control. Not my live stream. Any advice or tips for low progesterone during early pregnancy? I started Ketovore before conception and had my doctor switch my thyroid medicine to natural thyroid. So she has low progesterone.
Yeah, just low progesterone. So typically, there's two different trains of thoughts. A lot of practitioners, GYNs, will tell you low progesterone might not be bad, and it varies from amount to amount. And if you've not had a history of recurrent miscarriages, that you don't need to treat it. If there's been a difficulty in achieving pregnancy or recurrent miscarriages, I would hope that your provider would be supplementing your progesterone while you're trying to get pregnant, and especially during your first trimester. And that's generally done with medroxyprogesterone.
Yeah. Also, if you don't listen to Dr. Kiltz, he does live Q&As every morning at the Book Crack of Dawn. The man has so much energy. And he would probably love to answer that question as well if you want to get a specialist, because that's all he does. Babies and mamas, and that's his favorite thing on the face of the planet to talk about. And he loves carnivore and ketovore. So go hang out with him if you want to get up at 5 a.m. That's usually when he's on, I think. Michelle. Hey, Michelle, getting ready for the elimination challenge. What lab should I try to get done beforehand? So, hey, Michelle. So inside the PhD Pro community, you get a bonus option now to join the elimination course, which is we use carnivore as an elimination diet. We do 30, 60, 90 days and then do a reintroduction. Actually, I just dropped all the content for the prep. And if you go in there, Michelle, for the prep week, it will tell you the labs for specific problems. So if you have if you're doing elimination diet for autoimmune, there's a list of labs in there for that. Metabolic, list of labs for that. So all of that is in the course content inside the group right now. So you can go to, because it's a lot. But you don't need all of it. You just need what things are specific to you. Did you have a question you wanted to pull up?
Well, there was just the one about if we're going to be licensed in Georgia. That's not on our list or on the short list yet, just because they have a lot of standards. So I have to get a nursing license and a secondary position there. So, but anybody can drive to Tennessee to see me. So if you want to come to Tennessee, Georgia's not all that far away.
It's really not.
And I actually have patients coming in from Florida and other states that I'm not licensed in. They're just coming a couple times a year to get the information.
That's what people did for Ken. He was only licensed in Tennessee, but people would fly to Nashville, drive to Timbuktu, Tennessee, out in the sticks. And once you're an established patient, and then, you can come here and see. And then I think Ken Berry's really good at being the first to do things before there's a step. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we were doing telehealth at the Berry Clinic before telehealth was a thing. This was back in 2019, early 2019. And the rules, I think, probably have changed a little since then because of COVID. But yeah, you can come see us in Nashville and then drive to Dixon. Dixon is about a 40-minute. Is it 40 minutes? Well, depending on traffic.
Depending on traffic, yes, it's about 40 minutes west.
It's not that far from Nashville, and Nashville is a great place to visit. Wonderful steakhouses, so you can have a little mini vacation and a visit with Amanda too.
Absolutely. Let's go back up to the lady that asked a question early about the homemade pumpkin creamer stalling or A1C or nuts from Joanne. And yes, Joanne, those could definitely be stalling your A1C. You can also stall weight loss. So specifically nuts. I don't know what's in your homemade pumpkin creamer. Hopefully heavy whipping cream and a little bit of pumpkin and some spices, and that's about it. But I like to think of nuts as God put them in a hard to get out shell for a reason. So we would work like heck to get them out, and then we'd stop it too. But nuts have the same composition as breast milk, protein, fat, carbohydrate. And breast milk is a growth formula. So when you are eating nuts, especially in higher quantities, more than 1 or 2, it can definitely raise your sugar, stall your weight loss, increase your A1C, all of those type things.
Also, a lot of people are quite sensitive to nuts and they don't realize it. They think it's something else. Couldn't be the nuts. Nuts are healthy. Yeah. But a lot of people, especially almonds, highly inflammatory for a lot of people. Yeah. And it's hard to eat just a few. But like Amanda was saying, ancestrally, we would never have a bag of nuts easily. Just we could eat the whole thing. And yeah, you buy the packets and they're expensive too, y'all. They're so expensive. Like you could go broke eating a lot of nuts for sure. But what does my tattoo say? Well, that's a little off topic. I do have a video about my tattoo. There was something that was pretty important, but it flew out. Go ahead and let me see if I can find it.
Someone was asking about who should you ask about your bariatric consequences, like bariatric after surgery. If you want to put specific questions in about post-bariatric surgery, or even the equivalent of being extremely overweight and then the weight loss that can happen after hundreds of pounds, feel free to put specific questions in, because I am certified in obesity management and happy to answer those if I can.
What was I going to say?
I don't know. I got thrown off by the tattoo comment.
Also, I know what I was going to say, because this looks so weird. This is one of Bonnie's cups, but it's the perfect size. But she has
cute
chopped a chunk of the straw off, so that is why it looks like that. And I didn't realize it until I'd already had it in my hand. So if you're like, why does her straw look weird? That is my child, the piranha.
Take a look at this one. I've been doing more carnivore, but I eat hard cheese. Is it normal to feel weak or have no energy in the beginning? It's been less than 30 days. I thought I might not be eating enough, but I do not. I think I would focus more on electrolytes there. In the first 30 days, that huge transition, your body is shedding electrolytes like crazy. So once you lose the salt, which is your primary electrolyte, the potassium follows it, the magnesium follows it. So you need to double down on that. I have several that I use, but you can start by just salting your meat extra with something like a Redmond's, and that is a great way to start. Salt your water. There are electrolyte supplements. Make sure you're doing sugar-free, because if you got a sugary one, it did you no good. You're pulling yourself out of that ketosis, and definitely is not carnivore at that point.
Somebody said we're not going to talk about poop tonight, but it might get brought up. Even if Dr. Berry isn't here, that definitely could come up. You never know. All right. Do you have another question you're ready to pull up?
Not yet. Do you know? No, one's about Kansas. I don't remember if I'm licensed in Kansas, but check my Facebook page at Deckerless Carbs and see if Kansas is listed there. I should have my states memorized. I just don't.
It's 21. I mean, that's a lot. I would be afraid I'd say the wrong one. If you look under Amanda's name, I was going to reach over and point, but obviously I cannot. Under her name is her @. So if you want to follow her on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it's the same on everything. Yes.
Yes. Across the board.
And she's going to be doing more stuff on YouTube. So make sure that you're subscribed to her channel too, because once every month while Ken is out doing his, what do we need?
Civic duty.
civic duty to Tennessee to make Tennessee healthy again and be present, because you can't just do that from the sidelines, apparently, which is really annoying. Like, I just want to stay home, but he doesn't. So Dr. Berry, who I love you, Chris. So Amanda is going to be having some amazing guests on her channel on the third Monday of every month. So if you're subscribed to her channel, then you won't miss that. Next month, you have somebody lined up already?
Yes, next month we're going to be talking with Dr. Philip Obadia.
Oh,
yes, so bring smart questions and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, so make sure you're subscribed to Amanda's channel at Deckerless Carbs, because that's going to be amazing, and he's going to answer some questions for you guys, I'm sure, too. Chris, Cooking Nashville, now has a special cooking group inside the Proper Human Diet community. So if you want to come hang out with Chris and get some amazing cooking demos, and he's just awesome. Yes. He's so cool. Yes. Him and his wife are just the best.
I hope you're able to come tomorrow, Chris, because tomorrow we are live on my channels at the library. So check us out then. Yes. And this is something we're going to do in the community every quarter or so, just to get some messages out there.
Yeah. So if you're in the area, we'll be at the Dickson County Library at...
It's off the Hensley Drive. It's the Dickson County building.
What time?
Doors open at 5:30. Session starts at 6.
Cool. And Dr. Berry will be answering questions and just kind of motivating people. This is for beginners. So you don't have to be a beginner to come, but bring a beginner and ask some good beginner questions, because that's really what we want to focus on when we're doing these in-person events in Dickson and places that are smaller, is trying to get people in the door and explaining that you don't have to just, only eat ribeye every single day. That's not what this is about. And breaking down what a proper human diet is.
Absolutely. I'm also going to now turn my phone on Do Not Disturb, because my sister tried to call me.
Shame on you. My goodness. Somebody said Dr. Ovadia is their doctor. Cool, Eric. Awesome. Look at you.
Absolutely. Someone asking about electrolytes.
Chris Cooking Nashville is going to be there again tomorrow.
Yay, Chris. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yes. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Miss Betsy. Some of my VIPs are here.
Good.
Thought somebody was pulling in my driveway. That always happens, but I closed the gate, so they can't get in.
I don't think this is a question, but I think it's something good to just kind of point out, someone who has a large hernia, and, as you lose weight, those hernias become more and more prevalent and can become more uncomfortable because they are heavy. Some of the things that I could just say is try to get to your goal weight before you have surgery, which if that is your actual picture, I would say you're probably getting close to your actual goal weight.
I know, Carrie.
Yep. You would definitely want to stay on things that keep we said we weren't going to talk about poop, but keep your bowel movement soft.
Yeah, that's important, especially if you have a hernia.
Yeah.
Denise has a question. I need a great baby formula for granddaughter, please. I'm not sure how old your granddaughter is. You didn't say. But the best baby formula out there is goat milk. So if you can get a source of good goat milk, you can buy it at the store. We use Meyerberg. I don't know. Why can I not think? Somebody knows, because I've talked about this ad nauseum. And that's what we use. I breastfed both of my children past a year, but when they were weaned, we used goat milk, and many moms over centuries have used goat milk as a alternative to breast milk when the mom couldn't produce or something happened. Yeah. You can also buy breast milk now from trusted resources. As for formula, there is just not a good one. Not in America anyways. They're all pretty, they've got poor ingredients, and that's not the mom's fault that they don't have good options. So that's, you're kind of stuck. Meyerberg. Thank you, Rush. But goat milk, look into it. If you have access to a lactation consultant, sometimes they will have sources that they can help find you a mom who's producing that has extra. La Leche League, sometimes they have resources that they can tell you how to get access to breast milk or an alternative like that too.
So Chris Cooking Nashville asked best tips for reducing cortisol. And cortisol, I actually did a talk on it last week on my channel, so you can go back and watch that on YouTube, Facebook. They're now only keeping them for 30 days on Facebook, but it'll be there for a little bit longer. Cortisol, it is something we all need. It's our stress hormone. Without it, you die. So it's a good thing. But when it gets an overdrive from either a internal source like a cyst on the adrenal gland or just life stress, it's a bad thing. So tips would be regular bedtime, trying to get adequate sleep, practicing calming type exercises like walking, stretching, yoga, things like that. Deep breathing has been shown to lower cortisol. Hugging has been shown to lower cortisol, that physical connection with other people, because we are humans and we are meant to have connection with each other.
It doesn't lower my cortisol. Don't. I'm really not a hugger.
Oh, my bad, because I am.
I'll hug a horse. Now that lowers my cortisol. Yeah. Animals, I think, also probably. That's why therapy dogs are a thing. Therapy animals.
Absolutely. And, exercise in general. So running can lower cortisol, but as long as you're not overdoing it, if you're pushing past that stress point, it can make it worse. But
Betsy says, good to see Amanda at the Yuma, Tennessee event. Yep, yes. She was there. Betsy wants to know, is the Low Carb for Better Health event open to share with others? Is there a website we can send them to?
Yes, tickets have been up for sale now for 2 months. You can go to the Low Carb for Better Health website, which is lc4bh.com. That's lc4bh.com. I might even see if I can put that in a banner.
I'll put it in the comments.
Okay, and it's also in my comments too. But yes, please go buy tickets. It is a 2-day event, September 12th and 13th. We've got 9 different speakers this year. It's going to be pretty amazing. I'm stoked about it.
Who all is going to be there?
Oh, goodness. So Dr. Ovadia will be there. Dr. Mark Cucuzella will be back. Andrea Salcido, who is a gynecologist, will be there. Keto Savage will be there. Oh, yes, very much. Autumn Weathers will be back. Tracy McBeath. She's a health coach from Australia, I think, or South Africa. Not from the U.S. Not from the U.S. And then Ken and Neisha Berry are going to be there.
Oh, yes. Yes, we shall be there. Also, the PhD Pro coaches are going to be there, too. So there is an add-on option when you go to the event to purchase your tickets. You can do, what are you calling it? So I don't flub it up.
I think it's just the PhD experience.
Okay, so the PhD coach experience. And so we'll basically do round tables where each coach comes to the table and we each have a topic specific to, I'll be talking about autoimmune. So you'll ask me autoimmune questions or elimination diet. Alyssa will do a topic. Terry will do a topic. Lindy will do a topic. And if Kim Howerton will get her butt there, she'll do a topic too. I'm not sure if she's 100% in or not, but that's fun. You can add that on. And there also will be a nature walk. Is that what you're doing this year?
Yes, there's a guided hike through the park. And then
beautiful.
Robert Savage is going to do a body weight exercise for those people that don't want to hike. You can join and just learn to do resistance training with your body.
Awesome. Cool. And then there's a dinner too this year?
Yes, the VIP dinner, and it is going to be sponsored this year from Route 22 Meats. So we will have extra protein on the dinner plate this year. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yummy, yummy. Last year, I ate so many jalapeno poppers. I thought I was going to die.
They were really good.
So good. So if you want to come hang out with Dr. Berry, myself, Amanda, the pro coaches, Dr. Ovadia, so many amazing people. Amazing place. It's in Dixon, Tennessee, but it's the state park, and it is just beautiful.
It is. And in September in Tennessee is a great time. It's, it's not too
right.
hot.
Okay. So when is this event, Amanda?
Yeah, September 12th and 13th.
September 12th and 13th in Dixon, Tennessee. You can fly into Nashville if that's the airport you need to use, or you can drive, obviously. It's a beautiful drive. It's a beautiful area. Love Tennessee. Home sweet home. All right. You got another question?
Yeah. Carnivore with Hashimoto's. Any reason I would be feeling weak when trying to exercise?
Multiple reasons.
Yeah, but the first probably I would mention is not even have anything to do with your Hashimoto's. It would just be hydration and electrolytes. Those are my always reasons. I'd never hydrate like I'm supposed to just because I'm going in the clinic. And then I exercise and I feel like I'm going to keel over when I just need more hydration. I was planting plants this weekend out in my flowers. So I'm like, stand up and I can't
Yeah, I have to keep my electrolytes with me at all times. So,
Yeah.
Delane, this is a very general question because we're not sure how old you are, how long you've had the diagnosis, how long you've been carnivore. If you've just started exercising and we're fine and now you're weak, if this is a new thing, or like you just started exercising, or have you been exercising for a long time? So there's a lot of back questions that we would want to know to give you a better answer. But yeah, I'm with Amanda. Definitely are hoping your electrolytes are fine and you're supplementing and you're getting plenty of water and eating enough. A lot of women especially go carnivore and just think, one egg and 2 pieces of bacon is enough. And they don't eat enough food, especially enough fat. So make sure you don't have to track forever, but track 3 days and just see how much you're actually eating. And you may need to eat more. If you're doing OMAD, you may need to do 2MAD. Several things could play into it, but also I hope you're not doing like crazy exercise and just doing some ease into it, especially with Hashimoto's. If you go carnivore and try to go to the gym 5 days a week, that can backfire with an autoimmune disease, like big time. So,
and then I would throw in, just from the primary care side, if you're supplementing electrolytes or easing into it, all those things, you'd need to be checked out by your primary and your PCP just to make sure there's no heart issues and things. Just because we clean up our diet and start doing well doesn't mean all the damage from the years in the past is immediately erased. So definitely want to be on the safe side. If it's not your electrolytes, go get checked out. Absolutely. Will you be licensed in Ohio? Maybe. Who knows? In Wisconsin? Maybe. Who knows?
Hoping to get licensed. Right now, she's focusing on the states that she has, and she'll probably fill her book from those states. I'm figuring, hopefully, as the years go by, there'll be more and more keto carnivore providers out there, and it'll be easier to find them.
Absolutely. And as nurse practitioners are more widely accepted, it started with one state giving us full practice authority, saying that we could practice the full extent of our license, and now it's trickled into the ones that are there. So as that happens, and as every state joins the nurse compact, which means my RN license can go, your RN license can go for every state and practice without having to get a new one, which is just more money, on top of it. As that opens up, we will be expanding.
I'm hungry now thinking about jalapeno poppers. Oh, I wish I had a whole plate of them. I don't make them because they're too much trouble. So anytime they're anywhere, I'm like snatching them up.
So Chris Cook, could there be a connection between Cushing's and PCOS? There's not just could be, there's definitely a connection between, and a lot of it all boils down to insulin, and both create insulin resistance, a bunch of abdominal weight, and a neck hump. If you've not watched my video for last week, I would highly recommend going back and watching it. It's just talking about the symptoms of Cushing's or hypercortisolism and how to properly test for that. And I test all of my PCOS women for elevated cortisol, because so many have been misdiagnosed as just being PCOS when actually the root cause has been cortisol issues. All right.
Can you see how many people are watching on yours? I was trying to think.
521.
Whoa, that's pretty good for just me and you.
Little old us.
Take that, Kenberry. If you haven't hit the thumb and like this video, share this with a friend, please do. Help us out in the algorithm. Make sure you're subscribed to Amanda's channel. If you missed it, I think several of you were like, wait, what? Where's Ken? He's out doing his civic duty. He's at a meeting. He's trying to have help with the Make Tennessee Healthy Again initiative. I don't know that Tennessee was ever the most healthy place on earth. we sure do like our fried food. It's been a hot minute since we were probably we're very low on the. What number are we, Amanda, now?
What was that? Sorry.
What number are we in the healthy states?
Oh,
we're low.
Oh.
We're down there.
Yes, we are. We might be close to the number of license that I have.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So Dr. Berry is doing the work and getting involved in the local community and trying to make things happen. So that is where he is.
Not anything besides eating more protein and fat to stop hair loss. I've had a hard time getting all the protein in. Protein is so filling. And yes, it is. I've been carnivore for 4 or 5 months. So the hair loss, I'm assuming in this question, is from going carnivore. And it's just this shock. Your system sees it as a shock. It's a change, sudden change from what you were doing. Generally, I see that hair loss for about 6 months, and then it starts to slowly grow in, about like having a baby. Having a baby is a shock. You lose hair for about 6 months, then it slowly grows back in. So first, I would say be patient, give it more time. But I would also add bone broth in there to just, one, get a little bit of that protein, all of the vitamins, and the best collagen source you could have. Absolutely.
You can supplement collagen too. Just make sure you're getting it from a real collagen source. Like, I think Ancestral Supplements has a good collagen. You don't want to just go to the GNC and get some collagen. That's probably a waste of your money. Yeah. And you can also make your own bone broth for cheap. And that is the best way to get your collagen. Most of the bone broth you're going to get on the grocery store shelf is not going to have exactly what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Have a craving for sweet. I had a tablespoon of cold butter lately. Is that okay? Well, yeah. I eat bacon. When I have a craving for sweets, I eat bacon and it satisfies it.
I just eat bacon anytime. Yeah, that's a great alternative. Yeah. A lot of people do the browned butter bites. They're very delicious.
I might need you to make me some of those. I've never made them.
They're very good. They've got because they're brown, they have the caramel smell, and they just smell really good. You can add electrolytes to them too. Some people put chocolate salt from Element in there. I've put bacon chips in mine to make them a little crunchy. They're pretty easy.
So I'm going to do a shout out to my friend Miss Tia Reed. She is here watching this. I love you, Miss Tia. Thank you for joining us. Here's maybe a good one for you. Pregnant, I've been low carb keto for 6 years. The A1C recently was 5.6 and the highest it's been, even higher than my obese days. What could be causing it?
Well, if you're in the last trimester, which she didn't say for sure, but even in the second and third trimester, your A1C can go up because you become more insulin resistant. That is a good thing. That is a normal thing. Your body is doing that to make sure that baby's putting on weight so it can come into the world and thrive. So this is probably nothing to be concerned about. It's a normal process. And once you have baby, it's going to go back down to normal, especially if you're going to continue eating keto carnivore. So I would not stress out about this at all, as long as your blood sugars are in normal range, which they probably are a little bit higher than normal, but that's okay. As long as they're, and you're not having any symptoms, it's probably fine. It's just that if you do a little research, you'll find that is normal. If your doctor gets all worked up about it, just be like, well, I read that actually in the second and third trimester that it's normal for the woman's body to get a little more insulin resistant, and watch them struggle to talk to you about it, because you know more than them probably.
I wonder too if, in pregnancy, your blood volume increases. So I would assume your red blood cells are also sticking around.
Oh, sure.
Too.
A lot of very interesting things happen to the female body during pregnancy. But if you're eating a meat-based diet, don't even worry about it. You're fine, girl.
All right. Here you go. If I met my macros from TD, not sure what TD is, but then exercise, do I need to make up what the exercise depleted? I wonder if that was supposed to be like the triple B and E, and it's a type of.
I don't know how to decipher that. I'm usually pretty good about it, but I don't know.
What I would say just in general about exercise and macros is, no, you don't necessarily need to make it up because you don't need to add more just because you exercised. One, if you are eating to your full and satisfied and you're eating appropriate food when you do eat, then I think you're going to be fine. If you are in weight loss stage and you're really trying to lose weight and you're really counting down those macros, which I don't count macros at my clinic. I count protein to get adequate. We do fat to satiety, things of that nature. But you definitely don't want to just add extra to hit a number. I don't ever want anybody chasing a number. That we want to chase how we feel and the results that we're getting.
Some somebody had another. I love pregnancy questions. I feel like that's just, I miss labor and delivery. Okay. Jen says, my 35-year-old daughter is 6 months pregnant and high risk. Her body does not absorb iron. She is overtired and in need of energy. Any suggestions would be great. Thanks in advance. I wonder why. You didn't say why. If she had some kind of diagnosis. Hopefully she's taking folate, methylated B vitamins. If she might have the MT, I always get that wrong.
MTHFR.
Yeah. She may have that gene. Sometimes that can interfere. Usually a methylated B vitamin can help, even injections to help her absorb iron. Obviously eating good quality protein. And liver supplements, even if she wants to give that a try, that can maybe help. I mean, if she's already high risk, I'm sure they have her on a lot of visits and all kinds of, it's hard to know exactly what she's going through because we don't have a diagnosis to, reference. But I would just say, make sure she's talking to her doctor. If she hasn't been tested for the MTHFR gene, she may need to be tested for that. And take some good quality folate, not just folic acid. Surely her doctor has told her folate, but some doctors don't. And then look into methylated B vitamins, and that's where I would start.
Yeah. All right. I've been carnivore since October. I can't seem to get my blood sugar to be lower than pre-diabetic levels. Could a GLP-1 be helpful with that? So yes, it is going to lower your blood sugar. I mean, that is how they work. But I don't know that I would jump straight to GLP-1s just because they're so extremely difficult to get off of, and they still have some side effects. So can be a useful tool if you really need it. I would say first, let's get a fructosamine and not an A1C. Let's also see where your blood sugar curve is. But one thing, I know I'm harping on cortisol right now, but it is so undertreated and underdiagnosed, is I've had so many clients who've been low carb, they've been killing it, they're doing everything that they're supposed to, and their sugars just are not coming down all the way. And then I've checked their cortisol and it's been elevated. And so that's the root cause. And I just worry that if we are going straight to a medication to fix it, we're missing the whole root cause of what's keeping you from getting healed all the way.
Yeah. And to be very clear, neither Amanda nor myself are anti-GLP-1. We are anti just go for it without, because root cause is really what we want to be looking at. Also, who gave the talk on GLP-1 last year?
Mark Cucuzella did.
Yes, he did such an amazing job talking about that and breaking down informed consent, which is really something that a lot of his clients and our patients don't understand. So if you're going to give a GLP-1 a shot, you really need to be asking a lot of questions on a lot of things so that you are okay with what happens later. Maybe nothing happens later, but it's better to know before you're in the throes of like whatever could happen. Lots of signs and symptoms, lots of dosing options like microdosing versus the full dose. We're not going to get into that, but he did such a fantastic job last year with that presentation. I learned so much for that. Is that on YouTube? It was in your package.
But if you are a client of mine, you get a link to that, and you can purchase the recordings to last year's. So if you go to the website where you can buy tickets for this year, you can also for $10 purchase all of the talks from last year, which includes his.
Listen, I would say if you're someone interested in GLP-1s and you want to be informed, it's worth the $10 just for his talk, because I mean, that man nailed it. It was such an amazing talk.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Okay, I like this question only because I have a funny story behind it. So the best way to prevent leg cramps at night: hydration, electrolytes, magnesium, stretching. Those are the common things that I do for leg cramps. But do you know what the country way of healing leg cramps is, Neisha?
What?
Do you know what the country way? Drinking the Bonnie cup. What's in that Bonnie cup, Neisha? So the country way of healing leg cramps.
Pickle juice?
Well, that is one too, but this one's funnier. So you take a bar of ivory soap and put it at the foot of your bed, and it supposedly heals it.
What?
I know.
Whose granny came up with that?
It was probably my grandpa, but I swear there were several patients who were like doing their pickle juice, doing their magnesium, stretching, and all that stuff, and they put their ivory soap down there, and it worked. I don't know what magic or voodoo ivory soap has, but
wow, Meemaw really
yeah,
went hard with that one. That's so funny. And I've never heard of that, but
extra magnesium, specifically magnesium glycinate, magnesium thornate, or just your electrolytes there.
and some ivory soap, apparently.
Yeah, and some ivory soap. It has to be ivory. It cannot be any other one.
That's
also
hilarious.
Ivory soap is the best way to cover a hole in your gas tank too, if you have a hole in it.
I've never had that problem, but if I do, I will make sure that I keep some ivory soap in my car.
Just in case.
Shelby's got a good one. Hey, ladies, does diet soda increase insulin, causing no weight loss? Is 5 to 6 diet sodas too much in a day?
So please go back and watch my video from a couple of weeks ago about diet soda and a study that came out specifically related to cardiovascular disease. But the short answer is yes, it does. Diet soda and Coke Zero increase insulin and increase inflammation and increase your risk of cardiovascular disease, being a heart attack or a stroke. Now, the study was done in mice, and it's clearly explained in that video, but these little mice were consuming around the equivalent of what would be 3 diet sodas a day in a human, and they definitely had increases in insulin regardless of what else they consumed. So yes.
Yeah. And Shelby, I would just say 5 to 6 of diet soda is just too much in general, even if you weren't thinking about this. That's just a lot. So, but you don't have to quit overnight. A lot of people can't. It's a little bit of an addiction, especially Diet Coke for some reason. So start, cutting back to like 3 a day for several weeks, and then do 2 a day, and then do 1 a day, and trade it in for some sparkling water. Mm-hmm. I love Waterloo, LaCroix. They've got all kinds of sparkling water. Now you got to be careful. They can sneak some sparkling water in there, and it's just soda.
Yeah,
but it's marketed just in the same aisle. So like Poppy, for instance, that is not sparkling water. I fell for that. So make sure you're always check the label. But any of the sparkling waters is just a really good option because they're still fizzy. They come in the can. It feels kind of similar. And you can also add plain sparkling water to Diet Coke, which me and Ken did a video on that, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. You water it down just a little bit, and it cuts the content, the ingredients down. It waters them down, but the fizz is still there, so it's not watering it down. It's still fizzy. That's kind of a little hack.
Yeah. Have you tried Zevia?
I hate Zevia.
It depends on the version, but basically it's a soda that doesn't have the caramel in it and uses stevia. Yeah. So it's the flavor's not there for everybody.
It tastes weird, the aftertaste. When I was like first keto back, first keto con that I ever went to, it's 8 years ago. I tried it and it was fine, but I think that's because my palate was jacked up still. Like I'd been eating Doritos, 6 months before. So, but now, oh no, I can only do plain unflavored water or where the water was poured a mile away from a blueberry, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
What's your opinion about beef isolate protein powder, Equip or Paleo Valley? I personally like the beef protein isolate better than whey protein. I think it's less inflammatory, but I like chewing my protein, not drinking my protein. And in obesity medicine, there is actually something to that. When you chew your protein, it is more satiating and it's better for weight loss. In a shaker thing, we're tempted to just chug it, and you're not going to absorb all of that protein that's there because you're not slowly breaking it down here. You're not breaking it down in your stomach. You're not churning it, in the intestines. It just moves through faster. So you got to sip on it slowly. Now, between Equip, Paleo Valley, I don't necessarily have a preference.
I do.
The keto. There's also the keto chow core line.
I think Equip chocolate is the best protein on the market. It tastes so good. It actually dissolves. It is not gritty. I don't love protein powders. but I love the Equip chocolate. And if you're someone who is like got kids and you're trying to make healthy ice creams and healthy popsicles and stuff like that, that's what we use for the kids. I make them chocolate ice cream with heavy whipping cream and the Equip chocolate powder, and it tastes just like a Wendy's Frosty.
Yeah.
And it is so good. The Paleo Valley is just not as good. That chocolate flavor, I haven't even tried any of the other ones because like it just don't get any better than a Wendy's Frosty flavor to me.
Right. And someone said that they've been carnivore for a long time. Should they count macros? I'm just saying, no, I don't necessarily see a point in counting.
Not unless you have a reason. Like, do you have a goal that you're trying to hit? Are you keto savage? Are you training for a marathon or a half marathon or a strongman competition? Like, do you have a goal where that is necessary? Then yeah, absolutely. But if you're just trying to live your life and feel good, then and everything is good, you don't need to track.
Or if you're needing to get into ketosis for like a neurological reason, because not all carnivore diets are ketogenic.
It's true. People don't like to talk about that. Well, y'all ain't ready for that conversation. Equip chocolate, eh? Methinks recipe experiments need to happen. Chris, I would love to see what you could do with some Equip chocolate. I bet you could have some magic happening in that kitchen of yours. I can't wait. Oh boy, I'm excited.
This is Patty, and Patty Pegram is literally 15 minutes from me, maybe.
Yeah, that's right down the road.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's actually Pegram. I said you can either be Pegram or Pigram, whichever one you want to.
I say Pegram.
If you're closer, you say Pigram. So, Patty, send us an email at contact@clearpathmedical.net. My receptionist, Miss Marley, will get right back in touch with you tomorrow. So that's contact@clearpathmedical.net. Or my office phone number is 615-441-4499. That's 615.
Say that again. What?
615-441-4499. Yeah.
Okay. I'll put that in the comment section for y'all. Listen, I'm going to have to teach Amanda all the tricks about how to use StreamYard and banners. Like, she ain't got it yet, but she's going to get it. Because she can have this stuff easy to pull up in the future. We're going to get her trained. Don't you worry.
I need a little bit more ADHD.
Yeah, Equip is expensive. I do have a discount code. I think it's just Neisha. Neisha. For maybe 15%. I don't know. It's in the description of most of my videos. But yeah, anything like that is pretty expensive. If you're getting quality ingredients, you're going to pay the price. So either you want the quality protein powder or you want the ribeye. And you just, pick what you want to invest in. It's your money. What are you voting for? Are you voting for the protein powder or are you voting for the real protein? And Dr. Berry is going to tell you to do what? What would Dr. Berry do?
Eat your food.
He would tell you to invest that money into some bacon or some ground beef, some kind of real protein that is going to be bioavailable and good for your body.
Absolutely. All right. How to get rid of adrenal cyst. So you can't unless you have surgery. That's the only way that I know of to remove adrenal cysts. Now, a lot of people have adrenal cysts. They're called adenomas, and they are not dangerous. They're not emitting the hormone cortisol. They just sit there. A lot of people have thyroid cysts. They have liver cysts. They have all kinds of cysts, and you don't ever notice them until it's an incidental finding on another scan. But if you have a cyst, you should be checked for, is it emitting hormones? And if it's not, and it's not changing, then just black it out of your mind.
Rush is always being a funny guy in the comments. What's up, Amy girl? Yeah, you really need to, if you're on a budget, do not be wasting your money on products. Don't do that. You don't need that. Unless you have a very specific diagnosis, like Amanda was talking about, like mental health, and you need MCT oil to up those ketones and get into therapeutic ketosis. Like, there are specific reasons why you may want some products that are high quality. That's not most people. Most people just need to focus on eating real food and moving their bodies and stop thinking about what your neighbor's doing or who's talking about who. Keeping that stress level down. That cortisol. Have you done a video about cortisol? Did you say you did?
Yeah, last week.
Last week. There you go.
There you go. Go watch it. All right. Basically, can pain keep my weight loss slow? And yes, it can. One, you're not moving as much because of the pain, but two, there's inflammation there, and the body has to calm down that inflammation sometimes before it feels safe enough to release that body fat. So be patient, give your inflammation time to go down as you're healing, and I bet it will pick back up.
All right, we got 10 more minutes. So get your questions in.
Wife says I act less ADD since been on carnivore 5 weeks. Can it do that? Yes, it can. Also helps OCD, anxiety, depression, random mental outbursts, all those things.
All mental health, and that's especially if you keep it high fat or at least moderate fat. You got to have the fat. You can't be eating chicken breast all day. Like, you can't do that and help with the mental health stuff. And really, low fat is no fun for anybody. It's not that. If you want to get a book for you and your wife to listen to together on an audiobook or read it, you can get Brain Energy by Christopher Palmer, who is a psychiatrist.
Oh, and you will get his information from last year too, because he spoke. So for that $10, you can get both of those wonderful talks.
Yeah, highly recommend. The $10 is a huge deal because I mean, you get to hear Ken talk. Did I talk last year?
You and Ken took the stage together, yes.
Oh, I sure did. Well, that was a good time. But really, we're the least good part of that, I think. All the other speakers, because y'all know what Dr. Berry is going to say. What's he going to say? He's going to inspire you. He's the motivational speaker at this point.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Well, he's not doing a specific topic, but the other speakers were very focused. And that, I mean, really, okay. What website? lowcarbforbetterhealth.com.
LC, the number 4, BH.com.
Yes. You can get it discounted for $10 now. When you sign up this year, you'll get access to this year's, but this is from last year's. But I mean, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And that one is purchased directly from the website, I believe. So when you're on that website, you'll look for last year's recording or 2024 recordings. And then there's a different one for Get Tickets Now. That's for 2025.
Okay. So if you want all the speakers, when I try to read and talk at the same time, my brain is like, do one thing at once.
We don't have ADHD.
One thing at once. If you want to listen to all of the speakers from last year's Low Carb for Better Health, you can go to lc4bh.com, and it's available now for $10. You can also get tickets for this year's webinar, seminar, convention, conference.
Get together.
Meet up.
Get together.
With a whole new list of amazing speakers that's going to be in September. So myself, Dr. Berry, Amanda, the pro coaches, Dr. Ovadia, and several other amazing people. You can find all the information at the website, get your tickets, and get last year's talks for $10, which I'm telling you is a steal. All right. One more question.
Okay. Well, that was just a positive note there that someone has put her daughter on a keto diet and her cycles had previously been on the depot shot. That's awesome. It's a great change. Anytime the female cycle is coming when it is supposed to normally happen, that's a sign of health. Your body is not going to have cycles normally if there's not underlying good health.
And that's a very common thing. Anyone with PCOS that goes meat-based, as long as you're eating enough, like there's several women who went carnivore and lost their cycle, but I really think they weren't eating enough and definitely not enough fat. If you undereat and you lose too much weight, you're going to lose your cycle. And that can happen if you change your diet, if you are a professional athlete, anytime your body is just like, there's no fat on you. Your body's going to be like, we can't sustain a pregnancy. We're not going to release it. We're not going to get pregnant. So make sure you're feeding your body, getting plenty of fat. And then, your hormones are going to thrive on a meat-based, high-fat diet.
Absolutely. So do you treat patients with fatty liver, and what do you typically recommend? So yes, I treat patients with fatty liver all the time. And what people don't really realize is your liver sometimes gets fat before you do. And your liver is one of the first things to fail before you go into hypertension and diabetes. The fatty liver is a sign of insulin resistance. The very best treatment is to reduce the foods that spike the insulin. So eating a whole foods, meat-based, animal-based diet that is extremely low in carbohydrates, because when your sugar goes up, your body's going to package them and store them away, because it's bad to have them in the blood sugar, and it stores them away in the liver and then in the fat tissue. So,
that includes sugar from fruit, fructose,
yep.
and honey.
Mm-hmm.
Even healthy sugar, your liver is going to be like, oh, look, sugar. So keep that in mind, because you can have animal-based diet and eat a slew of carbs, and that's not going to do anything for your fatty liver. That's not going to help you. So make sure you're keeping those carbs low. That's glad you said that. Bree has a good question. She's 32, PCOS. Goal to lose weight and regulate my period, get pregnant. I'm wanting to go keto, ketovore. Any tips? Good supplements? Should I count calories or macros? Any tips at all? So if you have PCOS, definitely want to keep those carbohydrates low. That's going to help with your insulin, because PCOS is basically diabetes of the ovaries. And when you lower those carbs, that's going to start the healing. It's going to take time probably. So be patient depending on how long you've had PCOS. You're 32, so that's great. Good age to get pregnant. Make sure you're feeding yourself, just like we said just now. Don't be limiting your meat. Eat your meat. Make it fatty. Get your carbs from real whole food. So if you're going to have low carb veggies, that's fine, but fry them up in some bacon grease. Make sure you're getting plenty of salt, plenty of electrolytes. I would not fast. I would feed your body, because you may be overweight, but you are probably undernourished. And people can't understand that, because just because you have gained weight does not mean that you have actually fed your body anything. So I wouldn't fast, especially if you're trying to get pregnant. Get that period regulated. Eat plenty of fatty meat. Supplement wise, I would go ahead and start doing folate just to get ahead of the curve, because you're going to want it to be highly folated when you get pregnant. A good methylated B vitamin is fine. If you want to do vitamin D3, K2, even iodine. Dr. Berry recommends taking it, even if it's 2 drops of iodine a day, 2% Lugol's. You can get that on Amazon. And there's a book called It Starts with the Egg that talks about egg quality. Now, there's a whole list of supplements in there. I don't think all of those are necessary, but you might want to just get educated on, what is important, because a lot of those things that they recommend for supplements you can get from food. And so eating high quality pasture raised eggs, if you can get them locally, even better. Just focus on feeding your body real nutrient dense food. What do you say, Amanda? You got any other tips?
The only thing else, because a lot of providers are automatically going to put women on metformin as soon as they get diagnosed with it. It can help. It can help you a little bit more insulin sensitive. You can get similar results with berberine, which is a little bit more natural. So you could start with that. But no, everything you said is spot on. This lady's come back a couple times from Chattanooga. So I don't know anybody in Chattanooga, but Chattanooga is in the state of Tennessee.
Sure is.
It's only about 3 hours from here, and you would be perfect to come up and see us a couple of times and then do telehealth as often as you need to. So consider us. I know it's different than your traditional care, but a lot can be done through telehealth and seeing somebody a couple times a year. Let's see, is there another good one?
Trish just says, Amanda and Neisha, this was a great live. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you who were fine with hanging out with us two ladies tonight, even though the superstar is not here.
Yes.
You just had to deal with us. I hope you have been entertained, maybe a little educated. And if you want to come hang out with us tomorrow in Dixon, we will be at the Dixon County Library doing a meetup doors open at 5:30.
5:30.
And then Dr. Berry and Amanda will be doing some Q&A. We can also meet you in September in Dixon, Tennessee.
Yes, please come. Please come.
There is limited tickets, so if you want to come, you probably need to go ahead and get your tickets and your hotel room.
Yes, especially the hotel room, because it's September in a state park, which is beautiful.
Beautiful
and they're already selling to other people outside the conference, so you better get your tickets now.
Yeah, so low carb, if you Google low carb for better health, it's going to pull it up. And you can also join us inside the PhD community. Amanda does live Q&As in there. I do live Q&As. If you're ready to do the carnivore elimination diet course, that's starting in there. You can come hang out. drberry.com/community. And Amanda's website is
clearpathmedical.net.
for more information on how to make Amanda Decker, FNP, MHP, your personal provider. She is obviously pro carnivore, pro keto, and she would love to help you on your health journey. She's amazing. You better get in because she's going to get booked like everybody else. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Make sure to subscribe to Amanda's channel as well. And we'll see you next month.
See you next month, guys.
Bye, guys.